We're, and hello, everyone. Okay, all right. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are at. My name is Nelson De Zambrano, and you are on Podcasters Unleashed, where we talk about everything and anything under the sun with my international group of podcasters. Okay, our topic today is our relationship with money. I really want the audience to get involved. This is a heavy duty subject. We're kicking off the new year. Important to get this thing done. So our relationship with money, everything that comes up around that, how it impacts us, everything that happens. Okay. So, and like I said, I want the audience to be there. I just got the messages coming in from people. So, but before we start, I'd like to have my co-hosts introduce themselves. So I'm going to kick it off ladies first and go with Carla.
Hi, I'm Carla from the Wonder and Wellbeing podcast. It's a podcast for parents and teachers of kids between the ages of 5 and 14. And we talk about all sorts of topics between education and well-being and how they connect.
Okay, and then we're gonna go with. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's let the ladies go first. So Matilda, then followed by Carla.
Hello, everyone. This is Matilda. I'm host of Coffee with Matilda, A Journey to Self. In my podcast, we try to find ourselves, love ourselves, and look at our adversity in life in a beautiful way.
And Carla.
Hi everyone, so my name is Paula and I'm the host of the podcast Women with Stories, where I share stories from expat women who lives in Paris and who travel around the world. So keep up with us on Spotify.
Okay, and just to let everybody know, we had a long conversation about feminism and money, and Matilda said she will always be picking up the check from now on, okay? So I just want to put that out there for posterity's sake, okay? I just want to lay it out there. All right, Simon, it's yours.
Hi, I'm Simon Rushton. I have two podcasts. The one that you can see right now is Taxi Chronicles, where I interview unsuspecting guests who get into the taxi. Everybody's got a masterclass, and they give it for the brief journey, 5 to 15 minutes long. It's all types of stories, from drug dealers to working girls to bankers to conductors of Philharmonic Orchestra. Everyone's got a story. I also do Africa Investor Stories, where we talk about investing in Africa, and you hear real investors from around the world telling their stories about what it's like to invest in Africa. Nelson.
And I go now to Victor.
Yay, hello everyone. I'm Victor Osio, the host of the Diaspora Entrepreneurs podcast. And I share stories of entrepreneur and how they move from the 9 to 5 into a lifestyle of freedom. So listen to me if that's what you're into. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and my name is Nelson De Zambrano. I'm the host of Investing in America, where we talk about two topics. The first topic is how to invest in U.S. real estate, the entire life cycle of the real estate investment, not just a transaction. The other part is we talk and I interview high-performance people, entrepreneurs, and how they have gone through things, their best practices, especially now in the time of COVID. So, all right. So, folks, we are going to hit hard on this topic, and I'm going to pose a question to the audience and also to my co-host here. And my first question is do we need money? Do we need it? Is this important? Do we need money to survive in this and where and how we live?
You could look at it different ways. Go on, Victor.
Yeah, I'll say yes. Money is not just important; it is very, very important. You get so we 1,000% we need money, because right from civilization we've been using money in one form or the other. So in the past 100 or 200 years, that's when we start calling the word money. We've been doing different forms of exchange. So that is what I mean, Simon. I can see you shaking your head there, but that is what I mean.
He said the past. Since I've been alive, we've been dealing with the barter system for most of the period of our time on Earth. So argumentatively, you could say we don't really need money, but because the world's become a smaller place, there's a lot more transactions going on. Money simplifies things, because if a man's got chickens and another man's got eggs, traditionally you just let's say apples. So obviously chickens give eggs. But now, because the world's a smaller place, it's much easier to do the transaction with money. But the problem is when you go into money, not to go too deep, you get that 1% who control everything and enslave everybody. Indentured servitude. That's the flaw. But just to give you a little fact, the paper money was invented by Genghis Khan on pain of death. If you didn't use his currency, he would kill you. That was it. Obviously, before that, you had the Mesopotamians and the Greeks who held their currency, the Romans, but the paper money is Genghis Khan's thing. Over to you, Nelson.
Okay, so we see that, do we need money? We do. It's been this evolution of bartering, which is a type of money. But we got into kind of this other part. So let me ask y'all, how do y'all relate to money? When it comes to money, what emotions come up? What emotions come up when it comes to money? And you know what? Let's just do this. I really want to hear what the females have to say. So, Matilda, what emotions come up when it comes to money?
Oh, beautiful emotion. Very nice emotion. I think it's it's a comfort. It's necessity, it's comfort, it's a good feeling, it's life, it's energy.
Okay. So let me ask, I'll ask Kaola, what emotions come up when it comes to money?
I think, as everybody said, it's a necessity. I do think it's not everything. Money can't replace everything, but we do need a lot in order to live, in order to go on our life and to achieve our goals. It's a necessity, and it's something that could also bring creativity in order to invest.
Okay, we've got a comment that came in.
We've got a comment coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll give Carla the honor of reading the comment.
Yeah, so Frederick says, money makes the world go around. Economies rely on the exchange of money for products and services. Economists define money, where it comes from, and what it's worth. Here are the multifaceted characteristics of money. Thank you for that, Frederick.
And the next comment.
Do we need money? Do we need to breathe? It's a part of our life. So yeah, I think we already cleared that up, and Sasha's just making it really clear for us. Yes, we do need money. Thank you.
All right, Sasha. Okay, so now let me ask you. Oh, and we have another one come in. Carla?
Hi, Mariana. We miss you. Thank you for coming to support us. It's always nice to see your face popping up there. And hi, Jackie.
Okay. Back to you, Nelson.
Okay, like I said, we love audience participation. So the question is what emotions come up? So let me throw that out there. What emotions come up when you don't have enough money? What emotions come up when you find yourself running short? What emotions come up? Because we're talking about the healthy relationship to money.
I would say.
Okay, Simon. I'll let Simon then Kaola go.
It also depends on the society you live in. Because if you're a subsistence farmer, then like some parts of the world, they still may deal with the barter system. But if you live in a big city, then you're in big problems if you ain't got enough money. Especially if the government doesn't look after you, as in National Free Health Service, not talking about America, of course, and free housing. Benefit money, and etc., etc. But anyway, sorry, Carla, your turn.
Yeah, I was thinking about this actually before we started about the emotional aspect of it, and I was comparing it in my mind actually to how you feel about anyone in any relationship actually that really affects your life. You have those relationships that don't really affect your life. They're just everyday interactions. And then you have those really intense ones that do affect your life, whether it's family members, your children, your parents. And I was thinking really about what happens when you're in love. And there are different qualities of love. Like you can have different levels of it. And when it's really intense, it can really destroy your life if you're not aware of what's going on. And money's the same. I think a relationship with money can be like a really life-changing relationship where everything is wonderful, but it can also be quite toxic. And I think it's all down to your relationship with yourself. If that's good, then your relationship with money is good. Otherwise, if not, then you get all the negative things of things like anxiety. That was the emotion that I was thinking about, the anxiety and how it can really get you in your stomach and get you in your head. And that's just like a really difficult romantic relationship. Similar feelings for me.
Well, we've got some comments here, Carla.
Yeah, and Andusa says, for me, money is a great enabler to living and experiencing the type of life I deem comfortable, but essentially I see it as a form of function.
One more, a couple more.
Money are awesome. Ariana is with you, Matilda. When there are no money, anxieties show up for me. Yeah, definitely. That's what I think. Anxiety, that's the word that comes to mind. Mariana says money is energy. For having money, you need to have healthy relationship with money, feeling abundance and gratitude in your own life. And those two words, I think, as well, to do with all relationships, the abundance and the gratitude, they're key. Thanks for that, Mariana.
Nelson?
Well, it looks as if, we got quite a tuned in audience right here. Victor, you were about to say something?
Yeah, so regards relationship, yes, you guys have mentioned that it has to do with your own relationship with yourself and how you grow up exactly, because it's the way your household is being run by money. That is how you. Okay, take for example now. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. So he was speaking about his partner. She came from a broken home because they were always under the pressure of lack of money. So, and the elder sister of his wife, was very, very successful. So both of them have like two. One of them said, okay, you know what? Money really ruined our family's life. I'm not gonna like joke about money. I'm not gonna like even talk about the subject of money. And the elder sister was like, you know what? Money ruined my mom's and my dad's relationship. Now I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that does not happen to us. So both of them from the same background and the same relationship with the same environment, have different relationships with money. I think. Oh, okay. I thought I was hearing myself. But so, for different people, relationship with money is very different. For me, money is great, and it's a great leverage for me.
Well, yeah, and thank you for sharing that, Victor. It's interesting how we talk about relationships and how the same upbringing can get two totally different results. And we mentioned the relationship a couple of times. So right now we've also done some research. Matilda, can you share with us the research that you found out in the word or the phrase healthy relationship, which can be applied to anything? Matilda, it's all yours.
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. I want to, before jumping to that relationship part of it, I want to confirm Victor's example. Is very interesting because your family affects how you perceive money. Like we talked about it last time. If as a child your parents and like other adults didn't view money as a learning experience, you may currently feel a sense of overwhelm or shame around your finances. Or if you watched your parents hide financial mistakes or worry about money related decisions, you right now may feel anxious about money. You might feel anxious and worried about all the time. It was very interesting. I've done some research and I've been reading a very fascinating book which I'm going to talk about later on a little bit about it. And it's whatever thing that you want to start in your life, whatever problem you have in your life, whatever area that it's not the place that it should be for you, if you look at it, you will realize very deep, it's not the mindset. I mean, mindset helps, but it's a layer below that. It's your identity to that subject that defines how you have that thing in your life. For example, if you looked at money as a negative thing in childhood, your parents will keep saying, oh, poor people are good people, and or rich people are bad. Automatically in your subconscious mind you think, oh, I want to be a good human being, and being poor is good. Doesn't matter if you're going to have a lot of success, you cannot sustain that, because your subconscious mind minimum is controlling 80% of your life. I mean, a lot of scientists and psychologists, they define it 90 or 95%, but at least 80% defines your daily activity. For example, you want to lose weight. If in your head you think yourself as this chubby person, for 1 year you might lose weight and you might go do a lot of workout, but after a year something will happen. You will lose the motivation, or you will come back to how you perceive yourself. So it's very important, before anything, before any working on any parts of your finances or money or your talents about receiving money, or in your career, it's important to realize how you look, what is your identity about money, or what is your identity about yourself. How do you look at yourself? Lots of people can look at you differently, but how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as this unlovable human being? Then if you go and you want to date, I'm sorry, you're gonna fail a lot of times.
So
Unless you don't change the fact that you are lovable, you are not going to find a partner.
So Matilda, what you're saying is that, the kind of recap right here is that if we do not have a good relationship as to how we view ourselves, we will not have a good relationship with money.
How you, in this scenario, how you look at money, how do you deep down think, what is your capability of having money? If you think you're a loser and you can never be successful, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, you cannot have a lot of money. There is this book that is very interesting, Psycho-Cybernetics.
Psycho-Cybernetics.
You guys need to read it. And it really talks about how your brain functions.
Matilda, 1 second on that. I think we've got a couple of comments that have come in. Yeah, we've got a couple of comments that have come in.
Yeah, we've got this comment from Eric, who says, money makes you survive. Without it, you're in trouble. That's definitely true in the world today. Everything revolves around money. We've also got Ariana, who says, Carla, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So it makes sense that your relationship with money, it's like the romantic one. Absolutely, Ariana, I agree with that. That's a really good way to put it. And Mariana, she liked your comment. She said, well said, Matilda. And we've got Frederick, who says, nobody hustles harder than someone who hates asking people for stuff to make money, Pablo Escobar. And nobody knew more about money than Pablo Escobar. We can't argue with that. He knew a lot about money and he knew how to stack it up.
Yeah. And the last,
Mariana says, self-image, great book.
You know, it's interesting right there. And thank you very much for those comments. You know, the funny.
What about Matilda, going by your definition just now, what about people who they really love themselves, but they are broke?
I mean, you can love yourself, but maybe you love yourself. It's not about Victor, it's not about only loving yourself. It's about how, for example, Matilda sees about Matilda having money. If I think of myself, oh, I'm broke, I cannot make money, I can never be successful. Okay, 1 year a job magically can come and I can make some money, but definitely I will do something subconsciously to sabotage myself. It's like your subconscious mind is your thermostat. If I don't know 75, you think you're amazing. This is the best weather for you. If you go to 95, you're gonna come back to 75 because that's what your comfort zone is. So if I think I will never be rich, that's how I identify myself for money, then I will never be rich. You never, when you ask people who are successful financially, they don't hesitate saying, I knew I'm going to be successful. I'm a problem solver. You know something, I'm going to give you a very interesting example, and it's not about money. 2 years ago, I was traveling with group of coworkers, and it was rainy, and we had to go to airport, and the hotel gym was closed. My coworker at 4 a.m. in Geneva was running in a parking lot. And I, in my Matilda, was like, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Why are you running? And he's like, Matilda, I'm a runner. I run 6 days a week. Rainy, shine, snow, I don't know. I run. This guy didn't think, oh, it's not it's inconvenient, so I'm not gonna run. Successful people financially, they think they're problem solvers. It's not about covid comes, another pandemic comes, another recession comes, they find a way to make money because their mindset, their belief system is, I'm successful no matter what, I make it. So
Over to you, Nelson.
Okay, all right. Well, Matilda just kind of laid out the law right there. So that's part of the. What, oh, hold on, we got a comment coming in.
Carla.
Mariana says money influences our self-worth and self-esteem.
Okay, let me ask the group that question. If money influences your self-worth and your self-esteem, I'm going to throw that question out to the group. Kaola, are you? I just want to go Kaola first because that's a powerful one right there. That leads directly to the healthy relationship. Carla, could you read that again, please?
Money influences our self-worth and self-esteem.
Okay, so, and we've got another one here that we can go back to that question.
Some of us have had to start over from zero several times. I, for one, did this 3 times. And when I mean starting over, zero, sleeping on a couch, a mom or friend's place, life happens, consistency is the key. Yep, I think most people have been there, Frederick. And Katrina says, totally agree. So I think she's there with Mariana's comment about self-worth and self-esteem.
And I'm really glad we had that coming in from the audience, right? That money influences our self-worth and self-esteem, followed by what Fred said about having to start over. So if that's the case, when you have to start over, and starting over means that I got the you-know-what beat out of me, your thoughts here on how that influences your self-worth and your self-esteem, okay? So I want to throw that over to, let's say, with Victor, and then Simon, and then Kaola.
Yeah, I would say what Mariana said is really, I don't know, I'm not, I would say starting from what Frederick said, starting from zero, you need to know your self-worth, your self-esteem. Like when you're starting from zero and you're living in your mom's couch, I have started over and over and over again. So I know, listen, this is not who I am. I am better than this. I can't be living like this. I need to go for what I think is mine and start to create 1, create 2, create 3. If it fails, no problem, start all over again. So that is where I would say, starting from zero, you need to like know your self-esteem. You need to be more aware of your self-worth, that you can't just like remain in zero. You have so much to give. So I would say I'll start from Frederick, then just butter it up with what Mariana said, that money influences who you are internally. Money influences what you are, because you can be a rich jerk, you can be a rich nice guy, you can be a rich, can I say asshole? Yeah, you can be a rich guy and be okay. You can be a rich guy and be so if your self-esteem is crap, that is what money pulls out of you.
Yeah, I would say it's important what Victor says partly is that money is like alcohol, even though I've never drunk. From what I believe, it just brings out who you are, if you see what I mean. If you're a good person, you want to help people. If you're a bad person, you don't want to help no one, in that respect.
But I'm sorry, when you're poor, I'm sorry, if you're homeless, who are you going to help? So it's better for you to be financially secure so you can help lots of people.
Right.
Excuse me.
One second, Simon, and then Carla.
Okay, Matilda. We won't talk about privileged lifestyle, but what I will say is this. I've met some very, very dirt poor people who help out other people. Regardless, if they have a loaf of bread, they're happy to break that with someone else, even though they're sleeping in ripped trousers on the street. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's not one thing you can just buck people in certain groups. It's just different people, different things. And it's also depending on what point they are in their life. Some people, depending on where they are, they behave a certain way, but then next year or next month, they've experienced certain things, they behave in a different way, Sorry, Carla, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say before Howler comes back to answer that question that Nelson was asking, that actually, Matilda, I think sometimes you can help people when you are poor. You can help them with your example and your lesson. Because sometimes if you're honest about your situation and you say to people, and I've had to do this many times, look, I'm really broke right now, I've got no money. And when they say to you, why have you got no money? And you explain why you've got no money, sometimes that can be a lesson to them. And sometimes lessons are the best help you can give to people. It's not always just helping by giving them money. And if you don't have money, you can't help other people unless, like Simon said, it's just with something simple. But you can definitely help them with your lesson. And that's why it's important when you are going through money struggles, not to hide that and pretend as if it's not happening. You have to talk about it, and you have to accept it, because that's also one of the ways that you will avoid getting back in that situation again. And then I'm going to leave it to Howler before we go back and read some of the comments.
Okay, so the question was again about Mariana when she talked about the money and how it influenced self-worth and self-esteem, right?
Correct.
So I think that if you appreciate yourself and value yourself when you have money, this is a problem, because we all know that in life we have ups and downs. And if you became broke, does that mean that you won't appreciate yourself and you won't like yourself because you don't have money? And that's what the problem is, because when you hit the bottom and when you start from zero, you will need to become to believe in yourself and to try to have this self-respect that you're going to be back on your feet and try to be creative and make money again. So I do think that money could influence your self-worth, but it's not the only tool. Go ahead, Matilda.
Okay, Matilda.
I think
Matilda, 1 second. We got a comment that just came in here.
Yeah, so if we start, Carla, you ready?
Yeah, we've got some comments, got quite a few here. We had one from Ariana who says, I think she was saying that when we were saying in relation to self-esteem, it shouldn't, but in most cases it does. So in most cases, if you are short of money, then it does affect your self-esteem. She also says values nowadays and the success is mostly measured according to the amount of money someone owns. Absolutely true. And that's a problem in society. Sasha says you can be poor and be an asshole. Absolutely. Sasha, we see that all the time, but you don't need to be. And Katrina says, Ritz meter maid, money only magnifies what already exists. I think it was you that said that, Simon. And Ariana, personally, I have very little money, yet I help at least one person every day with something. And Sasha says, associate the fact to be poor and to be nice person. Sometimes people associate being poor and being a nice person, but poverty is not a virtue.
He's on my team.
That's your squad, is it, Matilda? Right. And Frederick, I think that makes up the individual self. Some folks can break through failure and get up and carry on. Others cannot. Yeah.
I have something that maybe can be interesting to discuss about. I have issue with self-image, self-esteem that Kaola was talking about. I think making money can make your self-confidence, but self-esteem is different way. I can be broke, but if I know I have the qualities and I can believe in myself, okay, Matilda, you're broke, but 1 year, 2 year, you're working on a project and it can happen. That's it, because you're a successful person and it's just a matter of time. It's not your self-esteem that is in danger. But yeah, when you're not making money, your self-confidence is down. I've experienced it so many times in New York. I didn't have money, I couldn't find a job, but I never let my self-esteem to be questioned. My self-confidence, yes. So it's a very big difference between self-confidence and self-esteem. And if you let your self-esteem go down, you let everything go down. That's what you have is your self-esteem. That's it.
Right. So, and that's very important what Matilda was just sharing right there. But we got a comment that just came in. So, Carla?
I think we read this one. Frederick from Frederick.
Oh.
I think he's just backing up what Matilda says there about the self and how self-esteem relates to money.
Right. So yeah, I mean, a very big definite. One is the self-confidence that, hey, I can do this. And the other one is the self-esteem, which is a little bit different. And then also when we don't have money, how we react to that, right? One is I'm not worthy, I'm worthless, my self-worth. In some other cases, and you guys tell me, I think Victor was talking about this, where that could drive and motivate a person to say, I'm better than this. I can accomplish more. So look at that. Carla?
Yeah, Nelson. She says self-esteem has nothing to do with money. It's a mindset. So, and thank you very much, Ariana. Since we do some research here, we get ready. Simon, can you read out definition of mindset? And if not, we'll go to Matilda, but I give it to you first, Simon. Okay, Simon is muted.
Sorry. My definition of mindset is it's basically just where you are in life to how you see things in the layman's terms. Because obviously everybody's got a mind. We're all and it depending on your upbringing and the environment that you're being brought up in, or the circumstances to where your mindset will be. I'm sure Matilda will give us the Oxford Dictionary definition, but my sense is it's like when they say get your A game on, just think positive, do what you need to do, and just just make things happen, because we're all here on our own circumstances in that respect. Matilda?
Well, I'm again, at the beginning I was saying, mindset is a little bit temporary. it's a little bit surface level. You can think, oh my God, we're gonna do this, and every day you can say, oh, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna run this much. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna do this. So you have a you have a warrior mindset, but there is a layer below that. It's your identity. It's your identity, how you perceive yourself. And if you fix that in any area of your life, there is no way that you won't be successful. Fix the mindset so your brain, your subconscious mind, sees you as this successful person in your finance, in a relationship, in loving yourself, in being a best parent that you can be, and you will be, and the world is yours. So mindset is a little bit temporary. It's like go to Tony Robbins and just work on it for a couple of months. You're good to go. But work on the lower layer, so you can understand yourself. For that, you need time to be with yourself. For that, you need to be sitting in front of the mirror and see where is your shortcomings and where is your strength, and love it and feel it, and work on yourself.
Just to throw that in here, obviously, on the definition of mindset is the established set of attitudes held by someone. So I would say, in response to what Matilda's saying there, is that everybody can have a positive mindset, like you're saying, but it's just implementing it. And we know it takes 30 days to make something a habit, and 10,000 hours to make yourself a professional at something. So once you've decided, it's a bit like what in the A&A they say, when you hit rock bottom, or that's where you make a change. We learn as adults by suffering, pain and suffering, and those are usually those circumstances that make us do something that we have to do, unless we're in a very comfortable position that everything's taken care of us anyway.
So we've got a comment that came in, and then I'm going to wrap up with mindset, and then we're going to go to Victor. Carla?
Yeah, Sasha said that mindset creates your success. And also we've got Frederick who says, true friends are discovered by witnessing who stuck by you through the worst times.
Very true.
Yeah, heck, that is a podcast episode all by itself. Fred, thank you. So Matilda, I think what you were describing was the difference between motivation, which kind of comes and goes, and mindset. So the difference is, well, see, mindset really doesn't change too much. Motivation is what you just mentioned, the Tony Robbins event, people get excited, they're going to do this 3 months later, or New Year's resolutions. Okay, that to me is a motivation. It's an emotion. It comes, it goes. Mindset is more something of an orientation. Like that's a certain orientation that a person is going to be this way regardless of what happens. So there's
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there is it's deeper, that how you identify, it's not your mindset. I can decide today that, oh, I'm going to work out and I'm going to have a beautiful body. But am I going to sustain that till a couple of years? If my identity towards myself is this beautiful person with beautiful body, then yeah. But I can work really hard with the mindset of having losing I don't know how many pounds and going to gym every day. But after a year, it's not necessarily I'm going to continue, because how I identify myself, for example, is this chubby human being. Then sorry, it's not going to happen. How I feel about myself, how I identify myself is the beginning of everything. And then you bring mindset, and then you bring motivation. These are different layers that comes to it. But when your bones hit your skin is your identity, is your blueprint of life.
right. So Matilda,
let me just confirm what you were saying. Matilda, you're saying you put your feelings in front of mindset. Is that what you're saying then?
No. It's how you identify yourself. It's not about feelings.
right.
It's
So,
how you think who you are.
so Matilda, 1 second. Let me just square this away. It's important. Mindset and motivation are two different things. They may appear the same, but they're two totally different things, right? So a person could say, hey, I'm motivated to do this. The identity and mindset are like cousins. Motivation is like the next door neighbor, close, but they ain't related. So they're close, but like I said, they ain't related. All right.
I think you guys need to read this book and really understand.
Right, Matilda, hold on a second, Matilda. I want you to hold on to that book, and because I want us to get the royalties from that, okay? But not just yet. We're gonna go to Victor, and then we got some comments.
Yeah, what I would say is, according from what Simon said about being positive, it's not gonna cut it. When say someone is down now, you're down on your luck, 0. See what Ariana said. I really appreciate that, because pain happens, but suffering is a choice. You can be thinking positive. You can be very positive and remain where you are. But until you start orienting yourself, until you start shifting your mindset, having a plan, being nice to yourself, knowing yourself what you're not gonna shift from that rock bottom until you start to like get someone who's gonna hold you accountable. Start talking to someone who's gonna like maybe help you, lift you up, or just talk to you about, listen, you need to start going towards where you want to go. It is not gonna happen, because positive thinking and motivation, they are visitors.
That's right, and that's the whole thing about the motivation. Exactly what Victor just said. The thing about being positive and motivation, they're just visitors. A mindset doesn't really change that often. I'm gonna use one of our members here as an example. Simon. Simon's mindset is to be fit. It can be freezing in London. There'll be one guy going out for a run. That's Simon. Okay. There's one person out there running on the street. That's Simon. Okay. His mindset is, I will be fit. I am an athlete. I'm a Royal Marine Commando, period. Regardless of how much sun or snow or whatever the heck is happening in that island over there. That's Simon. His mindset is that. Okay. So that is a mindset right there. Okay. Not motivation. It's a mindset. Okay.
So it starts with mindset. Everything else comes after. So obviously you have to do proaction, but you have to get in the mindset, I'm going to do this, and then action. So I understand what Victor's saying, yeah, but to me it's like you're not going to start doing something if your mindset's not in that zone in the first place. But shall we get on with these comments are building up?
Yeah.
Carla?
Okay, so we've had coming in from Ariana. She says pain happens and suffering is a choice. She also says suffering comes from resistance, and with the right mindset, you move whatever you want. And then we've also got Katrina, who says, for me, it is how you set your mind according to subconscious belief, which I think is what Matilda was talking about. But you cannot set your mind on what you don't believe. I have had to truly reprogram my mind on past accomplishments. I have to evoke an emotion in my mind. So I guess she's answering what you were saying, Simon, as well, which is it does relate to feelings. I think that your heart, I think we haven't had any comments about this, but I was thinking from some of the comments that I think the condition of your heart makes a difference. And I think that's where the seat of motivation is. Motivation doesn't just come from the mind, which maybe we could talk about later on. And Katrina says, Ariana, true. She agrees with you there, Ariana. And Ariana also says his mindset is in achieving. She's talking about you, Simon, there with your running no matter what. And she says, my mindset is on gratitude. So I go see the sunrise every morning. And that's that backing up your mindset with habits. Frederick says, I do not know if you ladies and gentlemen are following the ongoing GameStop saga, given that the veil of Wall Street is coming off at its seams, and we are witnessing the manipulation of the stock market hedge funds. How do you feel now that it's apparent that the game is rigged? Good question. And
sorry.
Yeah, and we can come back and answer that in a second, Frederick. And he also says when it comes to financial situations, so the game is rigged when it comes to financial situations. Thank you for that, Frederick.
Okay. Hold on for a second. Okay, the whole GameStop thing. There's a movie. It's an oldie but a goodie called Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd. I encourage you guys to see it. It's like the whole GameStop thing, but it took place in the 80s. So there, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people who are laughing in the audience. All right, Simon, you were about to say something? Okay, so we've hit the whole mindset thing. So, got a comment. What happens when a person is starting at zero, right? Or better yet, they got to break themselves out of zero, whether they had something and they lost it, right? Like Fred 3 times in the example he gave, all right? Even myself, or they're just starting, okay? How do we work on that? Some ideas, way to strengthen the mindset, I throw that out to the group. I think Victor wants to take it. Victor, go for it. Victor, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just say for someone, from my own personal experience, it took me time to realize that I have to be nice to myself. I have to be cool with myself. Oh, you've made a mistake. I have to acknowledge that. I have to. If not, if you started from zero and you've not acknowledged that you've made a mistake, that it's okay to make a mistake and nobody's perfect, man, you'll be going in circles. You'll be going in circles, but until you realize that, see, I have to start again because I made a mistake, and make yourself understand, even though you're living in your mom's house or you're living in a friend's house. No, I made a mistake and I need to start building myself back. If not, the cycle will never stop. That's what I just wanted to say.
Okay. Yeah, and that's important to be able to acknowledge and be nice to yourself, right? Because sometimes we can have it's the next cousin to that one is the imposter syndrome. No matter how good you did, you say to yourself, and in my case, it was me, I was just lucky. And never really acknowledging the fact that, hey, you did something pretty good consecutively. So yeah, most definitely, Victor, what you're saying right there. Let me kind of flip this thing around. And do you think we get trained, we get taught, whether it's in school or at home, okay, to have the proper fitness towards money? And before we go into that, the proper fitness towards money, so we're going to go into the definition right there. But Carla, if you could read out that from Fred.
Fred says, how can you start from zero when it's not your fault, but yet you bear the consequences? So I think that's a follow-on question to Victor's comments about starting from zero and how you can learn from that experience by acceptance. I know Matilda wants to jump in and also how you can answer that.
Right. So Matilda, we got to keep this tight here because we got Carla to go, okay?
I think in any situation, if you want to have any power in it, you need to realize that you were part of it. There was something that you've done. Maybe you didn't see this outcome. Maybe you've done maybe the connection was wrong. Something that you've done, you have to take part of your responsibility. Acknowledge it that your part was wrong. You did something wrong. So you have the power to fix it. If you put all the power to other people's hands, then you're going to be a victim. From a victim mindset, you can never be successful. But own your mistake here and go forward with it.
Okay.
I just wanted to add something related to what Matilda said about starting from zero. And it all comes down also to vision. You need to visualize what you are really trying to accomplish, and have that picture of your goals and try to break it down into actions to how you want to get there, because you will have a lot of struggles in your life. And if you don't have this vision, I don't think you can go somewhere without that vision.
I'll just in there. We got to look at different circumstances there. you've got the classic situation where you've worked for 40 years and your pension's been stolen by the corporate hedge funders. You had to pay a pension by law, and it's all gone, and now you're at retirement. So it's not always directly your fault. There are circumstances which are out of your hand, and you've just got the short end of the stick. If you're, depending on what time where you are in life, yeah, there are other circumstances, but there are circumstances where it's just beyond your actions, but you have to try and address that. So
but yes, Simon, that's what Frederick is saying here. It's not your fault, but yet you bear the consequences, because you've been working for 40 years, at least in every 5 years. Hey, where's my money going to? You can check. Where's my money going to?
Yeah, but you know where your money is going to, because it says on paperwork. But where it's gone wrong is that there's some corrupt hedge fund guy or whoever, and he's stolen all the money. And he doesn't even go to jail. Whether he does or doesn't is irrelevant.
Okay, Simon, with that kind of a mindset.
All I'm saying is there's different circumstances. I acknowledge what the ladies are saying, but there's different circumstances for different things.
No.
Okay. Hold on a second, Matilda. Hold on. We're kind of getting something going on. Carla, we've got some comments, and then we've got some research question right there coming up.
Yeah, we have. Ariana says, absolutely. When you see your responsibility, that's power. So I think she's backing up what Matilda had mentioned earlier. And also Frederick has mentioned Enron. And I know this relates a bit earlier to what Simon was saying, but also to what he said about the whole stock market hedge fund thing. And now it's become apparent that the system is rigged. And I think that it's always been rigged. I would say, Frederick, it's always been rigged. This is not new. It's just it's more complex. The rigging is much more complex. And I think that also ties into what you're asking me, Nelson, about the concept of naivety. I think that a lot of people, even if they are good with money, they are naive, and they put all their eggs in one basket, and they actually trust these people. And the thing to remember about people is they are people, and that makes them prone to certain characteristics, including greed and corruption and all those other things. And naivety, when you have a lack of experience of wisdom. And sometimes you can know stuff, but not be wise. And I think that's what we see a lot in the world today. We see people who know stuff because they read about books. They read books about money, for example, and they read all about how to invest and where to invest and all that, but they're not wise. Being clever and knowing stuff does not mean that you're wise. And it doesn't mean that just because you know what to do with money because you've been told that it's always going to work out. Because on the other side of that, you do have people who are perhaps a bit wiser than you, or a bit more tricky than you, and they know what to do with your money because you're not using proper judgment, which is also one of the elements of a naivety, is a lack of judgment. And who was it who mentioned, I think it was Simon or Victor, who said about you have to check also where you're putting your money, and you have to follow it up. So you shouldn't be waiting 40 years before you check in on those people who have told you that they're going to hold your money. Maybe you need to check in a bit more often to find out the status of who's got your money. And whether or not they're going to do with your money what they said they're going to do. So I think that ties into the issue of naivety, Nelson, in answer to your question.
Right. So, and thank you very much, Carla, for that, because we can be, right, there's naivete, right? We can believe in wishful thinking, magical spirits, the universe will take care of me, all kinds of things. There's got to be a certain amount of orientation, a certain healthy relationship with, hey, what's going on with my money? Okay, what's taking place with my money? Okay, 40 years. Hey, I worked for 40 years. Well, were you curious? Right? Did a person build up certain skills, additional skills to make more money? So all of that comes into play with being, thank you for the definition of naivete. Okay, so as a person can be naive towards their money or their ability to produce money. All right, Simon? Or I think we have a comment.
We just have that from Frederick talking about Enron. And Enron was the it's been defined quite often as the fall of Wall Street and one of the biggest financial frauds that ever took place in the world. And many organizations and people are still experiencing the fallout of that today, even though it happened many years ago. So that's just in relation to that comment there from Frederick.
This is a quick aside, and thank you for that, Carla. I used to go visit a place down in Texas, And there was this one place where I would meet clients, and it was always packed with people and all these Enron millionaires. And I could barely get a seat, and I'd have to sit like way in the back somewhere. And I would go like once a month. And every time I went, it was less people. And they were all Enron people, less people. And then the last time I went, I was like the only guy at this bar because all the Enron people were broke or going to jail or both. So that whole Enron story. As we're going along right here, would you say certain people have a naive orientation towards money? And I'm opening that up to everyone here. A naive orientation towards money, which obviously Simon just hit on. Kaola?
I think we all have this experience to be naive on money. No one was born with the experience of money. We all have made mistakes. So naivety is something is natural to have. For an example, we have Richard Branson. He's the owner of Virgin Store. So he started to record a store. His decision to start to do a record store. He know nothing about record store or retail. He has clueless information about that industry, and it's followed by also clueless decision to build a recording studio or a record label, and then he ended up in an international division of Virgin Records. We need to be naive and in order to acquire experience and to learn so we can invest better. I think wise, yes, it's really good to know where the money goes and come, but we really need to also put the risk ourselves to risk and try to invest in things like we have done. Also, we have put the risks to invest in podcasting, for example. And we didn't know anything about it. We were like clueless about it. But after it, we could, make business out of it. So I do think that naive, it's not a bad thing.
Yes, I agree.
Hold on a second, Matilda, 1 second. But just to go along with that, what Kaola just said, using the podcasting example, we all had as a group, plug for Podcasters Unleashed, by the way, a mindset that we were not going to quit and we were going to make this thing work. That was not motivation. Okay, audience, y'all don't see how we almost kill each other, all right, when we're not here. I'm going to tell y'all right now, we almost kill each other, right? Okay, I mean, it's ugly, but we have a mindset that we're going to work through that, all right? Okay, Matilda, right quick, or Victor? Okay, there you go. You see, that's a mindset. Okay, Victor?
Yeah, I would say we all are naive when it comes to let me not say we all, but most of us, myself, naive when it comes to finance, when it comes to money. So I have to start consciously educating myself how money actually works, how to use money as a tool, how to like shift my mindset now to see money as a tool, as a proper leverage. How to, I remember the last time we spoke, Nelson, in the one-on-one, we were talking about creative financing. Yeah, how you value out and you get good returns for the reward that comes out from the whole package. So I have to start like educating myself when it comes to money. And one of the greatest book I've read when it comes to money, or for anyone who's looking to start off, is The Richest Man in Babylon. It is a classic. The Richest Man in Babylon, George Carlin.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you're starting from zero, you see people debt really, really poor, slaves, but they found their way out. So we think we can overextend ourselves, but man, things like you find out, like what Frederick said, the game is fixed, the game is rigged. So you need to start learning how you can use money to like leverage yourself out of being rigged. Like what's it called? What this American guy, Warren Buffett, build a moat around yourself.
Right,
so
right.
Yes, build a moat around yourself. So you do that by start educating yourself. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, most definitely. Thank you. Carla, we're going to do a wrap up. Carla, if you can read out some comments.
Yeah, we've got this comment from Katrina Young. She says, we all have our mind set on something. It's either a fixed one or a growth one. And I believe she's referring there to that research. It's a very good book by, I think she's a Stanford psychologist, Carol Dweck, who talked about the fixed and growth mindset. And this is all about how we learn from mistakes and our attitude to failure. Do we see failure as a reflection of us and something to be down about, or do we see it as an opportunity to learn? So thank you for that, Katrina.
Okay, so as we wrap up, we're wrapping up right now. Just going to do a quick recap right now. So first thing, money is an inescapable fact of life, okay? It's an inescapable, it's a condition of life. We cannot live without it, especially in a modern society. Money is an inescapable fact of life. It's a condition of life. We get the opportunity to develop a healthy relationship with it. That doesn't mean you love it, that doesn't mean, but we do need it, okay? So we do definitely need it. Just like any other relationship that we need. We have a relationship with food, with water, with other human beings. We have to have a healthy relationship with it, because without it, we can abuse it, we can abuse ourselves. Money's a tool, and the better we can use this tool, the better life we will have. Why? Because we have financial threats, right? People think it's just, I'm gonna buy stuff. It's to deal with financial threats, right? People say, hey, I have free healthcare in my country. You don't have free healthcare. You're paying taxes, and your taxes pay for that healthcare. Nothing in life is free. There is nothing free in life. Your taxes pay for that healthcare. So the more tools, the better our life will be to handle financial threats that come of us. All right. And then once we develop this healthy relationship towards money, we can better satisfy our aims in life. Easier to satisfy our aims in life. Okay. So, folks, that is it. But before we wrap up, we've got a couple more comments. Carla?
Yeah, we've got a comment from Sangster, who says, you don't know what is in the future, so it is hard. Like trying to start a little business, then COVID-19 comes and hits people hard. Epilepsy doesn't help me, I'm afraid. I hope this is okay and sounds okay.
Well, William, it definitely sounded okay to us. All right. So, folks, double and triple thank you. It was great to have the audience, great interaction. Look forward to having all of you on every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. British Standard Time. And thank you.
Thank you, guys.